digressing away from football, because there's matches on Sunday as well. 4 matches to be precise, if I can actually say precise. There's 3 kicking off at 2 p.m.
Okay.
Aston Villa versus Leicester City. Newcastle versus Southampton. And Norwich versus Sheffield United. Neither one of those games really stand out as to be spectacular.
Not really. I mean, the Leicester one is one of interest because they are now second in the league, but I do expect them to win that game.
That's why I don't think it's that interesting. Newcastle, Southampton will be.
Is it Southampton?
Yeah, both teams.
Struggling teams. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be an interesting game. And then
definitely the biggest game of the weekend is the Manchester derby.
Yeah.
In England, anyway. I think there's Roma Inter Milan coming this weekend.
And Bayern play Mönchengladbach.
Yeah, that's the top of the table clash.
Well, only because Bayern are usually at the top, but it's first versus fourth. So that should be a good game. At 4:30 on Sunday, you have Brighton versus Wolves. The Wolves are doing quite well at the moment.
Yeah.
As well as Brighton. We beat Arsenal on Thursday.
At home. And the Wolves manager is being spoken of as a replacement for Unai Emery at Arsenal. So Arsenal fans may be keeping an eye on them games.
Esperanto is a good manager. Plays good football as well. And he's Portuguese, which would be nice. A nice difference, different ethnicity.
Well, it will be a Portuguese derby between him and Mourinho in North London.
Very, yeah, I forget about that one. I would like to see someone. He's got a bit of a tinge to his face, to his skin tone as well, a bit darker. So that's nice. Would like to see someone of a darker hue. But Freddie Ljungberg, given time. And we'll move on to the Monday match, as West Ham United are playing Arsenal. So could be a tricky one. Well, most games are tricky for Arsenal at this moment in time.
Yeah, there ain't easy games for them no more.
No.
And they need to win a game, man.
Since 1977.
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, watching the game, this is the worst I've seen them play.
Yeah, it's a 9-game winless streak. This, for a club of Arsenal's stature, it shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, all coincides with Lacazette coming back into the team, and Mesut Ozil coming back into the team as well. I do think Mesut Ozil could be dropped. He's not playing very well. It doesn't do enough for the team. Very static and just passes to the side. Doesn't dribble past anyone. Doesn't do many great crosses. Doesn't pick up players in those obscure ways that you used to be like, oh my gosh, what a pass. Doesn't do that anymore.
Well, if they're not going to play him, then they should get rid of him because he's on a huge contract.
Oh yeah, I think they should get rid of him.
What's the point of keeping a player that they can't make use of?
Hopefully in the transfer
somebody else can. Maybe a championship team, or maybe a team in a lower league, like maybe
go back to Germany.
Sorry, a weaker league. Well, I think the German league might be a bit too strong for him. He
Depends
might
on
need
what
to
team.
go to Serie A or the French league. That might be more suited to his level of football now. Because he's a big name, so I'm guessing that if he goes back to Germany, he's going to end up at one of the challengers. And
I can't see him going back to Germany with all the thing with his race and him being Turkish and all that. Him not being in an international team, even though he did get dropped from international football first because he didn't play well in the World Cup. The majority of German teams didn't play well, but he wasn't very good. Since that injury that he's had, that kept him out before the World Cup, he hasn't been able to run as quick and do as much.
Well, it seemed like he ended up becoming a scapegoat for what happened in Germany because of that photograph incident, and it all got messy during that World Cup campaign. He ended up becoming a scapegoat in some ways, and it wasn't fair. But yeah, he got dropped or retired, etc., and it's come to this now. And also he got attacked earlier this season with Kolasinac, which may be still affecting him.
Yeah, especially because he was the one that ran.
Yeah.
Kolasinac was the one that got out and was like, yeah, come on, madman.
Yeah.
But Ozil just drove off and left his brethren there like...
Well, Ozil was with his wife.
Was he with his wife?
Yeah, somebody pointed out to me, so...
that's a bit more understandable.
In that regard, yeah, you can understand.
But he could have got out and locked the door.
Yeah, well...
Can she drive?
I don't know. Probably can, but, you know, if you don't know what could have happened. I mean, you don't want to leave...
But Ozil just doesn't seem the type.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Kolasinac... Anyway, so what do you think of the match? Because West Ham are not in the best of form either.
Yeah, both teams really need the win. So
they may be another team that could looking to sack their manager.
Yeah, there's been word that
Pellegrini
could go soon.
He hasn't really been doing so well. He hasn't done that well by I almost said by West Ham standards, but I don't remember West Ham standards being that big anyway.
No, but they did make it to Europe not so long ago, and they're a good footballing team.
But they're another team but what it is for them as well, they're another team like Manchester City, who have had a national stadium, and it's been given to them, and they're not really they want to be at the heights that Manchester City are at, but they don't have the same financial backing.
Yeah, they need some serious investment if they want to do that. But I think Pellegrini, the players that he has are just not good enough for what he wants to do, I suppose, because he's a top manager. He's managed at Real Madrid.
He used to be a top manager.
He's done big things with limited resources, so...
But that was back in the day. Some managers lose their
mojo, yeah.
And also that maybe past footballing philosophies are not really working. Football's moved on a few years in the last couple of years, so
yeah, that could be another.
You've got to you need to look at Pep Guardiola's and Jurgen Klopp's school of thought. Look in their training manuals.
Not the Mourinho one, because that looks like it's out of date.
Yes, that was
in these times.
Yeah, it is out of date. It's been a long time.
No top team is playing defensive football. So you can't. I mean, how can you go to teams and start playing reactive football? It does not make sense, because when fans are playing top dollar, top pound sterling, let's say, because we're in England and we say football, not soccer. When you're paying top money, hard-earned money, and you go and see this kind of football that puts you to sleep. Okay, it's effective. It used to get results. But
it's even worse, because against Manchester United, a couple of the comments that were made is that they couldn't put two passes together. So even with that defensive football that Mourinho used to play, they could put two passes together. This time,
they used to be effective at what they did, which was counter-attacking football. It's kind of similar to what Liverpool did against Everton during the week. They played long balls, 1-2 passes, and they opened up the defense, which is kind of what Mourinho's teams used to do, the best ones. I don't know what they're doing now. Maybe they're still following. They're staying between the Mourinho philosophy and the Pochettino.
You don't like Mourinho, do you? Mourinho, as I to call him.
As a coach, I think you can't argue with his record, but as a manager and style of football, etc. And
That's my.
there's a lot of undesirable things.
All the money that he spent at Chelsea and come with the most boring of football
Yeah,
ever.
yeah,
And when he, the season when he had some playing some attractive football, as soon as they lost 4-3, was it 5-3 to Tottenham?
oh, they went
Went
straight back to defensive football, and they played defensive football till the end.
And then he lost the team, and then that's why he ended up getting the sack, because they wanted to go back to playing. Man, that's Fabregas and who else did they have?
Hazard.
Oh yeah, forget about Eden Hazard. What's happening? Oh, who's Real Madrid playing this weekend?